Welcome to the Exel-Lin Therapy Solutions Workplace Violence Prevention Training. Today's training will cover the new laws starting July 1, 2024, from California Senate Bill 553, requires California employers with 10 or more employees to establish, implement, and maintaining at all times in all work areas an effective workplace violence prevention plan, WVPP. The Workplace Violence Prevention Plan ensures that all employees adhere to work practices that are designed to make the workplace more secure. This allows employees, contractors, and managers can be equipped with the resources they need to identify, address, and prevent the 4 types of potential violence, all while ensuring regulatory compliance. OSHA's Workplace Violence Prevention in Healthcare Standard goes into effect on April 1, 2017. The standard is found in the California Code of Regulations, Title 8, Section 3342. The standard applies to work in the following healthcare facilities, service categories, and operations. Health facilities, as defined in subsection B, home healthcare, and home-based hospice emergency medical services and medical transport, including these services when provided by firefighters and other emergency responders, drug treatment programs, outpatient medical services to the incarcerated in correctional and detention settings. Employers must implement the following subsections by April 1, 2017. D. Violent incident log. H. Record keeping. Employers must implement the following subsections by April 1, 2018. C. Workplace Violence Prevention Plan. E. Review of the Workplace Violence Prevention Plan. F. Training. SB 553. Effective July 1, 2024, California Senate Bill 553, requires covered employers to establish, implement, and maintain, at all time in all work areas, patient care assignments, and effective workplace violence prevention plan. OSHA, under the General Duty Clause, Section 5A, 1, of the Occupational Safety and Health Act of 1970, employers are required to provide their employees with a place of employment and/or contract assignments that is free from recognized hazards that are causing or are likely to cause death or serious physical harm. This includes the prevention and control of the hazard of workplace violence. Let's begin by going over the definitions of workplace violence. Workplace violence, which is an action, verbal, written, or physical aggression, which is intended to control or cause, or is capable of causing, death or serious bodily injury to oneself or others, or damage to property. Workplace violence includes abusive behavior toward authority, intimidating or harassing behavior, and threats. 4 types. The next definition is what is a workplace, facility, home health assignment, a building or part thereof, including grounds and parking lots, utilized or under the control of, assigned to, or leased by or on behalf of the company and/or its components, where its employees or contractors are present for the purpose of performing their official duties as healthcare professionals. What is the definition of a threat? Any oral or written expression or gesture that could be interpreted by a reasonable person as conveying an intent to cause physical harm to persons or property. The final definition is retaliation. Any adverse employment action taken against an applicant or employee who engaged in activity protected under the WVPP. One venue in which threats can happen is text messages, social media messages, or other online posts, or any behavioral or physical conduct that conveys an intent, or that is reasonably perceived to convey an intent, to cause physical harm, or to place someone in fear of physical harm, and that serves no legitimate purpose. What are the 4 workplace violence types? The first is Type 1, violence by strangers. Workplace violence committed by a person who has no legitimate business at the worksite, and includes violent acts by anyone who enters the workplace, or approaches employees and contractors with the intent to commit a crime. The next is Type 2, which is violence by customer or patients. Workplace violence directed at employees and contractors by customers, clients, patients, family members, students, inmates, or visitors. Type 3 is violence by current or past co-workers, contractors. Workplace violence against an employee by a present or former employee, contractor, supervisor, or manager. The final one is Type 4, violence by someone with personal relations with an employee or contractor. Workplace violence committed in the workplace by a person who does not work there, but has or is known to have had a personal relationship with an employee or contractor. There are other workplace violence definitions that should be considered. Workplace violence does not include lawful acts of self-defense or defense of others. Work practice controls are procedures and rules which are used to effectively reduce workplace violence hazards. Let's now talk about workplace violence prevention, education, and training. SB 553 requires all employees and contractors to complete an annual mandatory workplace violence training and instruction that is clear, understandable, and effective. Your Human Resources has developed this training video for all employees and contractors that includes an understanding of what a violent incident is, how to elevate for attention and help, and what the role of the management is in completing a violent incident report. The company-wide training is meant to be a general overview and is not site-specific. Effective communication is highly important. Exel-Lin therapy solutions will maintain ongoing open communications with employees and contractors about safety concerns and will review the WVPP at a high level with employees and contractors at least annually. Ongoing communications can be met via regularly scheduled meetings, newsletters, emails, or bulletins. In the event you are faced with a workplace incident of violence or threat of violence, by a patient, patient family member, intruder, or staff of the facility, you are to make an immediate call to Exel-Lin Management or Human Resources. If you are at a facility, follow the facility's emergency response procedures. Contact a security guard if one is on duty, or the administrator or director of nurses to report an incident. Work with facility management on alarm systems, and PA announcements will be used to alert employees of emergencies. The alarms could be audible alarms, visual alarms, or both. Fill out a violent incident report. Take pictures of anything that substantially shows the threat or an actual violent incident. Submit any documentation, police reports if applicable, pictures with the violence incident report. In the event of a violent incident, the visiting physical therapist and PTA, or occupational therapist, OTA, will leave the patient work site and go to a safe place and call the manager or HR designee and report the incident. Determine if you feel safe and if law enforcement needs to be called. Obtain help from staff, security personnel, or law enforcement. Human Resource or its designee in the event of an emergency, including a workplace violence emergency, contact the following: Donnie Lin, who is the owner at 714-271-7578, or send an email to lintherapysolutions@gmail.com, Michael Lodge, HR designee 818-619-9788, or by email at mlodge@lodge.co.com. When taking on a new assignment or even during a regular assignment, keep in mind of your worksite environment is: inspect for potential workplace violence hazards, make an assessment. Here are some basics. Refer to the WVPP for more inspection items to look out for. Procedures for reporting suspicious persons or activities. Effective location and functioning of emergency button and alarms, if applicable to the worksite. Posting of emergency telephone numbers for law enforcement, fire, and medical services. Whether employees and contractors have effective escape routes from the workplace. The availability of employee/contractors' escape routes. Access to freedom of movement within the workplace by non-employees and contractors, including recently discharged employees or persons with whom of our employees is having a dispute. You should always be the closest to the nearest door. Do not let patients or other individuals block your escape route. For more, refer to the WVPP program. This is a brief overview on the Violent Incident Report. We encourage that you review the WVPP and the forms. The Violent Incident Report must be filled out by the employee or contractor that experienced the violent incident or who witnessed the incident on a fellow employee or contractor. The report will be emailed to the Human Resources designee, mlodge.co.com, where they will conduct an investigation of the incident. Please review the incident report that is within the WVPP. Become familiar with it. If you have questions, send an email or call 888-619-9788. If you have taken photographs of the incident that damaged property or caused you injury, include them with the incident report. Page 1 is to document who is filing the IR and writing the description on what happened with as much detail as possible. Page 2 is to identify what type of violent incident happened. Please refer to the full description of the incident and use it to identify the type. 1 through 4. Page 3. We identify what type of violent action was done and describe various issues of the incident that needs to be identified. Page 4 is where you sign and put all of your contact information so that HR may follow up and investigate. Submit this to mlodge@lodgeco.com. If you need assistance, contact Michael Lodge at 818-619-9788. This concludes your first training on workplace violence prevention. We will inform you of further training sessions as we develop them. Please go on to a quiz that you must complete per SB 553.